Good evening, I am Tomas Guevara Calderon, and this is the channel Rewriting the Reality. Subscribe to this channel to understand how we create our reality. Right now, the believers in the sciences are not different than the believers in the Bible. The science is our new religion. There is much of our physical reality that continues to elude us, for we continue to look merely on physical terms and not incorporate all that is available to us as to the aspects of consciousness, which are also a very intricate element of all our physical reality, but we lend energy in this direction within our experimentations and within our desire. Therefore, we are moving efficiently with our intent. In the last episode number 116, I explained that our intent is not the same as our intention. Let's go further with this topic. Our intent is, in a manner of speaking, our purpose for being here in this reality and in this time. Noted that because time is simultaneous, we are also living in another time frames. This explains the well-known phenomenon that we call déjà vu and the knowledge of past lives. This be the reason that I have been encouraging all of you previously within all of your movements in your search for past lives, for they are quite in alignment with our intent and our intention, and may be in actuality physically expressed within this particular physical dimension. For we are offering ourselves the ability to manipulate consciousness and express direction to these links of consciousness to be lending energy to our experimentation, and directing this through our physical time element to materialize our desires within our intention within our physical focus or life. The links of consciousness have, from the collections of ideas that I have presented, the ability to interact with other links of consciousness and form a gestalt of links, such as over 1 billion links forming an electron. It can't not be counted. They also can interpret our intention, and if it is aligned with our intent, we will create whatever we want. Therefore, they have abilities to look at our total, quote, psychological viewpoint, and then actualize and objectify a different result. The links of consciousness evidently have the ability to combine in infinite ways. This is one of the most beautiful of creations. It is the pervasive element throughout all of creation. The science community doesn't know it yet, however they have theorized the existence of the Higgs boson, which is formed of millions of links of consciousness. The Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, is a fundamental particle proposed in the standard model of particle physics. Let me break down its significance. Origin and naming. The Higgs boson is named after physicist Peter Higgs, who, along with other scientists, proposed the Higgs mechanism in 1964. This mechanism explains how elementary particles acquire mass. Here is my comment: a particle is supposed to be physical, ergo has mass already. It needs no to acquire mass. Here you see the confusion they have. It's important to note that the Higgs boson is associated with the Higgs field, which permeates all of space. Properties. The Higgs boson is a massive scalar boson. Unlike other particles, it remains massive even at very high energies. Its mass has been experimentally determined to be approximately 125 GeV/c superscript 2 by the CMS and ATLAS experiments at the CERN Large Hadron Collider. Role in mass generation. According to the standard model, the Higgs field interacts with particles, giving them mass. Particles that interact more strongly with the Higgs field acquire more mass. For example, W and Z bosons, which mediate weak nuclear force, are massive because they interact strongly with the Higgs field. Photons, on the other hand, remain massless because they don't interact with the Higgs field. Discovery. The search for the Higgs boson was a major scientific endeavor. On July 4, 2012, the CERN announced the observation of a new particle consistent with the boson. Further data confirmed its properties, aligning closely with the predicted Higgs boson. In summary, the Higgs boson plays a crucial role in their understanding of mass and the fundamental forces of nature. Its discovery was a significant milestone in particle physics, shedding light on the universe's underlying structure. Now let's compare the Higgs boson with the Monads theorized by Leibniz and Julian Barbour with the help of Copilot Pro. Here is the answer from Copilot.
Certainly. Let's delve into the comparison between the God particles, Higgs boson, and the monads from Leibniz and Julian Barbour. The Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, is a fundamental particle proposed in the standard model of particle physics. It is associated with the Higgs field, which permeates all of the space and gives mass to other particles through its interactions. The Higgs boson was experimentally confirmed in 2012 by the CMS and ATLAS experiments at CERN. It plays a crucial role in our understanding of mass and the fundamental forces of nature. In contrast, the concept of monads was introduced by the philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. Monads are indivisible, simple substances that form the basic units of reality. According to Leibniz, monads do not interact with each other directly, but are pre-programmed to harmonize with each other in a pre-established harmony. Julia Barber's interpretation of monads aligns with Leibniz's view, emphasizing the interconnectedness and the non-physical nature of these fundamental units. Comparison. Nature and role. The Higgs boson is a physical particle that interacts with other particles to give them mass. Monads are non-physical, metaphysical entities that form the basic units of reality and do not interact physically. Interaction. The Higgs boson interacts with the Higgs field and other particles to impart mass. Monads do not interact directly, but are synchronized in a pre-established harmony. Scientific versus philosophical. The Higgs boson is a concept from particle physics, confirmed through scientific experiments. Monads are a philosophical concept proposed by Leibniz and interpreted by Julian Barber. In summary, while the Higgs boson and monads both represent fundamental aspects of reality, they belong to different realms of understanding, one scientific and the other philosophical. The Higgs boson is a tangible particle with measurable properties, whereas monads are abstract, metaphysical entities that explain the nature of reality from a philosophical perspective. The concept of monads as non-physical entities was introduced by Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz. In his work, Monadology, Leibniz described monads as simple, indivisible, and non-material substances that make up the fundamental building blocks of reality. He argued that monads are metaphysical entities without physical extension, and they do not interact causally with each other. Julian Barber, on the other hand, is a theoretical physicist who has explored ideas related to Leibniz's philosophy, but he did not originate the concept of monads as non-physical entities.
Excellent, because I explained that the universal consciousness is not an entity, but an action, and therefore, the links of consciousness are not entities either. But they create entities following our directions, which are our intent and our intention, which are not the same. I found the previous information marvelous, but I would like to include the following clarification. Time does not interact within the interpretation of our intent or intention. It is the links of consciousness that are interactive in this area of interpretation, but they are interactive with the element of time to be creating certain physical elements. Time has an infinite set of facets, more or less a facet with respect to every focus that is within this regional area 1, which is our physical dimension, because it is interactive with our perception's mechanism, and our perception is influenced by our belief systems. Therefore, everyone holds different perceptions, and their interaction with the element of time is also slightly different. Although we generally, in a manner of speaking, may be experiencing what we think of as the same experience of time in linear fashion, but in actuality, each of us experiences a slightly different aspect or expression of the element of time, for it is quite interactive with our perceptions.
Thank you for the additional clarification. Let's incorporate this important detail into the episode script. Episode 194, Unveiling the Mechanisms of Universal Consciousness. Introduction. Welcome back, listeners. Today, we're diving into the fascinating realms of consciousness, intent, and the profound processes that shape our reality. We'll explore how our understanding of these concepts aligns with the philosophical insights of Leibniz and the cutting-edge work of Julian Barber. 1. Universal consciousness, an action, not an entity. Concept: the universal consciousness is not a static entity but a dynamic action. It manifests through an interconnected web of links of consciousness. Creation of entities. These links of consciousness create entities by following our directions, our intent and intentions, which, while related, are distinct. Our intent is the overarching aim, while our intention is the specific direction we give to achieve that aim. 2. Links of consciousness, interpreters of intent. Interpretation. The links of consciousness can interpret our intent and intentions, moving together in a collective, or gestalt, action. However, they do not hold thought processes as we do. Instead, they form thoughts by combining. Connecting with links. To truly understand and connect with these links within our psyche, meditation, altered states, or dream states can be helpful. But one must let go of objective understanding, as these links do not fit within our conventional frameworks. 3. Dreaming and communication of links of consciousness. Dream state. These links do dream, but their dreaming process differs vastly from ours. While we translate dream imagery into objective terms, these links translate directions based on our energy impulses. Impulse communication. Links of consciousness communicate through impulses, which differ from thoughts, emotions, or feelings. These impulses guide them to form our thought processes in response to the energy we project. 4. Thoughts as reality. Reality of thoughts. Thoughts are not merely elusive elements, but actual forms created by an accumulation of links of consciousness. This concept parallels Leibniz's idea of monads as fundamental, non-physical building blocks of reality. Creative process. This intricate creative process, similar to how molecules form water droplets, is unique to our physical dimension. While other dimensions may have similar interactions, our dimension holds tremendous creativity, as emphasized by Julian Barber's work on the fluidity of time and space. 5. Importance of perception and attention. Perception. Perception is crucial for creating physical reality. It works in conjunction with time to manifest physical matter. Without perception, physical manifestations cannot exist. Time does not interact directly within the interpretation of our intent or intention. It is the links of consciousness that interpret our intent and intentions, while interacting with the element of time to create certain physical elements. Facets of time. Time has an infinite set of facets, with each focus within our physical dimension, regional area 1, interacting with time differently. Our perception of time is influenced by our belief systems, leading each of us to experience slightly different aspects of time. Attention and reality. What we pay attention to shapes our reality. By making something less important, we pay less attention to it, and it can eventually fade from our reality. Conclusion. This exploration highlights the profound connection between our consciousness, perception, and the reality we experience. By understanding the mechanisms of consciousness and the role of perception, we can gain deeper insights into the nature of our existence and the universe. I hope this version encapsulates your ideas effectively and engages your audience. Let me know if there are any specific points you'd like to tweak or expand upon.
Thank Copilot. This is the reason that I have expressed that thoughts are reality. They are not merely elusive elements that we may not attach any significance to. They are actual forms. They are reality, for they are an accumulation of links of consciousness formed together in responsiveness to the impulses that we are projecting to be directing of them, in like manner how we direct the molecules to get together to be creating of a water droplet, like I explained in the previous episode number 116 on May 17, 2024. This is quite a creative process, and quite intricate, that we have developed within this particular physical dimension. Other physical dimensions create some similar interactions, but this is not to say that all physical dimensions are created of this same process, so to speak. I have expressed to you that this particular dimension holds tremendous creativity. Other dimensions do not necessarily express the intricacies of this particular dimension, and in this we have created an availability within this dimension for tremendous usage of consciousness to be introduced into our physical dimension and introduced into actual physical matter. We may be manipulating energy quite efficiently within this particular dimension, with very many aspects of creativity at our disposal, in a manner of speaking. This is the reason for our shift in consciousness, to be opening a new door to our own aspects of creativity within physical focus. My final clarification is that time does not hold its own thought process, but it has the ability to interact in regional area 2 for the objective regional area 1 to be materialized, because time is a dimension in itself and permeates other physical dimensions too. There is an element of our time which is interactive within the regional area 3 which is connected to the action of transition. There are also other areas of regional area 3 that may be interactive with time, but only those areas of this regional area of consciousness that are interactive or influencing of physical focuses. Other elements of regional area 3 which are not involved or directly interactive with physical focus are not affected by this time element. Time does not interact within the interpretation of our intent or intention. It is the links of consciousness that are interactive in this area of interpretation, but they are interactive with the element of time to be creating certain physical elements. Time have an infinite set of facets, more or less a facet with respect to every focus that is within this regional area 1, which is our physical dimension, because it is interactive with our perception's mechanism, and our perception is influenced by our belief systems. Therefore, everyone holds different perceptions, and their interaction with the element of time is also slightly different. Although we generally, in a manner of speaking, may be experiencing what we think of as the same experience of time in linear fashion, in actuality, each of us experiences a slightly different aspect or expression of the element of time, for it is quite interactive with our perceptions. For example, we may be following the same linear calendar and we may be setting our clocks in creating of certain rotations and orbiting to be creating of days and months and seasons, but our moment-to-moment linear perception of time varies slightly with each individual, and our interpretation of time may be quite different from one individual to another individual. We also hold the ability to be manipulating the element of time and to be experimenting with the element of time, dependent upon our awareness and our allowance with ourselves to be open to the exploration of this particular element. Parallel dimensions are closely related in the element of time and its characteristics of blinking. That is why from time to time we experience what we call closed encounters of the third kind with our extraterrestrials. Remember the film of 1977 called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, directed by Steven Spielberg? This is derived from this classification. In the movie, the protagonist, Roy Neary, experiences a life-changing encounter with a UFO, leading to a quest for answers and understanding. The film explores themes of wonder, curiosity, and the possibility of extraterrestrial existence. Let me express to you that all realities are occurring simultaneously. Our attention may blink from one to another, but as it blinks, the one that you have blinked out of does not discontinue or disappear or move to another. The links of consciousness are infinite. Therefore, there are different links of consciousness that are creating different realities. They are not necessarily moving from one reality to another. Now, do not misunderstand. This is not to say that links of consciousness do not hold the ability to move from one dimension to another, for they do, just as physical elements within our physical dimension hold the ability to move from one dimension into another and return to their original dimension, so to speak, as within the situation of our experiments. But in the situation of blinking in and out, we are simultaneously occupying different areas of consciousness, different dimensions, and interactive within all of these dimensions. It is merely a question of the direction of our attention, but we are not necessarily entirely moving from one dimension to another, leaving one dimension, so to speak, and entering another. I have expressed many times previously that we are much greater and vaster than we allow ourselves to perceive, for we view ourselves within a very singular manner, but we are extremely greater and immensely vaster than we perceive ourselves to be. In fact, we are gods, just like Jesus said. I remember that when I was 6 to 8 years old, I used to find myself out of my body and over the planet Earth, and I was bigger than the planet. My mother believed that I had fever, but I was not. The activities in this shift we are experiencing are going to be incredible in relationship to this era of change. One of my desires in the last 10 or 15 years, because of the awareness of this information, is that my intention is that I am becoming physically capable now of living, I believe, until the year 2075 if I so desire, and this is magnificent. I believe that I'm going to greatly enjoy the experience of this dimensional shift, and it is up to me, I believe, to carry out that intention if I desire. That means that my intention is to reach an age of 123 years, that I know it is possible, because our body is designed to function very well for an average of 300 years. I am encouraging all of you to be experimenting with out-of-body experiences, for this shall offer you the opportunity to validate yourselves, and this shall be your practice to offer you more mobility within consciousness, and as you continue in this area, you offer yourself more of an ease in movement into the investigation of other areas of consciousness in the direction of investigation and interaction and experience with probable dimensions and probable selves, which shall also lend energy to your creations within this particular objective awareness within your dimension. In my next episode number 195, that will be published on February 9, 2023, I will let you know the advances made last year by Google with 2 quantum chips. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, because our reality is starting to change, and this can cause you a lot of traumas if you are not prepared and if you continue with your religious beliefs that are not truths. If you want more information, you can buy my books at Amazon.com, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.